So what we are seeing now is what most people associate as to being memes, and what we are looking at is a selection of random memes I collected together for the purposes of this. And some of you will be all too familiar with some of the images you are seeing, if not the rhetoric or the memetics contained within the templates. The templates can be used over and over again, and as I said, this is what most people commonly associate with when they hear the word memes. But social media and internet memes come in sort of three folds: visual, audio, and written. And what we are kind of seeing now is a little bit of a mix of visual and verbal. You get to sort of read the written message, and you get to see a picture that accompanies it. And this is why we see so many familiar templates, because they're very, very familiar to us, and that triggers sort of a comfort sensation within the mind, and then it is a little bit more susceptible to receive whatever message is contained within that meme. Now, not all memes are necessarily nefarious. Some of them really are mostly fun, or mostly once upon a time were fun. So we had their origins and were sort of birthed in fandom. Game of Thrones was a particular show, and it had a lot of sort of social media fan groups that saturated those fan groups with memes related to the show, and somehow they sort of evolved and expanded into social media news feeds to sort of provide social media commentary. But having seen the evidence for military memetics and memetic warfare, my opinion is these are tools of mind control, thought implantation, influence, and have become an extension of conventional memes. And if anything, the sort of protocols that are associated with memes of a cultural nature are also as applicable to social media memes. So we are going to pay a little attention, as I said, to some other forms of memetics that we will see on social media platforms, and certainly something that you will be all too familiar with. If you do use social media and you do look on your news feed, you will see nothing but every other post as being a meme. So stay tuned as we do continue to investigate memetics and the social influence that social media memes have over society.
So in 2013, Richard Dawkins revisited his original term meme to clarify that an internet meme is different than the meme that he once described. An internet meme is a meme or a cultural idea that's been deliberately altered by human creativity. So via the internet and cyberculture, these things become digital artistic expressions. So let's take a look at what it takes and how people make these artistic masterpieces. Memes are essentially comics, but without a formal outlet like a newspaper. The first and most popular form of internet meme was image macros. And Grumpy Cat here is a great example. It's a caption superimposed on an image. Rather than putting your witty comment below a photo, you're putting it right on top. So though they've evolved, internet memes today generally follow this same format. But arguably, creating a successful meme today versus, say, 6 years ago requires more time, a thorough knowledge of current events, and even familiarity with complex design and editing software. So for instance, all of these things come together, and you really need to be paying attention to what's happening both on the internet and outside of the internet in order to understand these memes. For instance, traditional schooling requires that students study classic novels as they appear in other forms of entertainment and even conversation. It makes people cultured. Knowledge of popular internet memes functions in the same way, especially among younger generations. And if you're not keeping up, it's really easy to fall behind. And clearly, I've been there. And then they make memes about that too. So if you don't get it, you're not in the loop. But why do you want to be in the loop? Who cares, right? Humans have a desire to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And the validation you receive on the internet from a meme well done is not a commentary on the way you look or the way you dress. Rather, it's a more personal level of validation of your cleverness, intellect, and worldly knowledge. And as an added bonus, maybe you'll leave something immortal behind. Another human desire that's oddly contrary to fitting in is to stand out, to leave a legacy, to be remembered. So I had a meme go a little bit viral once. STEM professors, no curve, no study guide, no mercy. Liberal arts professors, that test was too hard. Here's a picture of a unicorn. And now this was an actual email from one of my professors. And the play here is on a stigma amongst university students that liberal arts students do not work as hard or do not have as rigorous of a curriculum as our business or engineering peers. And as these themes regularly occur in the UT Memes Facebook page, I decided to post this. And so people were commenting, tagging, sharing this. And while all of these themes seem small, I was left feeling like I had accomplished something, even though in reality, I had accomplished nearly nothing. But that's how it goes. I mean, virality is pretty rare, unless you're Kylie Jenner, who is the runner-up world record holder for the highest number of likes on Instagram behind a picture of an egg. But that's how it goes. Compared to the number of people on this planet and the number of things posted per day, a very small number of things reach beyond your immediate followers. And unless you're Kylie Jenner, that following is at most a few hundred friends that might see your post. So in 2013, researchers at Indiana University conducted a study to see how internet memes go viral. Now, I hate to burst your bubble, but apparently what they found is that it's a result of complete random chance. Once an internet meme is shared beyond the first person that posts it, that exponentially increases its likelihood to be shared again by introducing it to a whole new crowd of followers, and therefore exponentially increasing its likelihood to go viral. On the other hand, if an internet meme does not get shared, it dies out quickly and everyone forgets it ever happened. In this way, internet memes function like a virus, spreading like a contagion and dying out without a host. Hence the term virality. So armed with this awareness, anyone on the internet has the potential to become famous. Anyone can create a meme and maybe go viral and be virtually free of social consequences, especially if the joke that they make is a little bit offensive. Now, on most platforms, there's no authorship attached, so why does it matter? Except on Facebook. Facebook has your name, your face, your friends, and usually your most sincere social brand. Not too long ago, recently accepted students to Harvard University formed a Facebook page in which they shared memes to build community before their arrival to campus. However, university officials caught wind of this group and rescinded 10 students' acceptances to the university upon the discovery of images mocking sexual assault, the Holocaust, and the deaths of children. Now, these examples mark extreme topics of taboo in American culture, and these are extreme examples of the social consequences of internet meme creation. But most of the time, no one faces any consequences. People feel freer to flirt with the boundaries of the taboo and create offensive memes for what psychology professor John Suler calls the online disinhibition effect. People behave differently online than they do in person, for what Professor Suler delineates in 6 key contributors. But I find 4 of these incredibly key to internet meme creation. The first of these, dissociative anonymity. The ability to hide your true identity online allows you to remove yourself from responsibilities of your actions. Additionally, there's invisibility, and that's a lack of physical contact with other users on the internet. Moreover, that lack of physical contact often leads to dissociative or dehumanizing behaviors of other online users. By not viewing people as actual people with real feelings, this often leads to the production of especially offensive internet memes via solipsistic interjection. And finally, the minimization of authority. The lack of an authoritative figure online feeds the production of especially offensive memes. And for now, there's no law against creating offensive memes. A law against creating any kind of meme would be encroaching on our freedom of speech. So all of these things come together, all of these behaviors forming the online disinhibition effect lead to controversial creations that call into question the boundary between free speech and socially disruptive behavior. But that's the point of jokes, right? To disrupt the audience's expectations. We often laugh because we're uncomfortable. Think of any successful comedian you've heard. Some of the bits that we react the most to are the ones that have us thinking in our head, did they just say that out loud? Or for instance, tickling. That's one of the most uncomfortable situations you can ever be in, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But we laugh. Or babies. Let's take a look at babies. They have no concept of language yet, so what they're laughing at is often very natural or innate. So if you're making a baby laugh, then you're probably genuinely funny. Or you're making them uncomfortable. Think about what babies laugh at, right? Peekaboo. When you play peekaboo with a baby, they don't yet understand object permanence. They don't understand that when you cover your eyes, that you're still there. They think you've disappeared entirely. So when you suddenly reappear, they are shocked. And they usually laugh because they don't really know what else to do. And that's kind of how we react to offensive memes. So why do people make memes? Why does this all matter? To answer this question, I polled about 1,000 of my Facebook friends, and the results ultimately fell in these 4 categories. For validation, to make fun of your friends, to make a statement, political or otherwise, or start a conversation, or to laugh and distract from reality and daily life, often via some commonality. And while all of these goals are different, they seem to have one thing in common. They build relationships. And consequently, they build communities. They build communities in geographic areas like states, or universities, or cities. They build communities amongst people with similar interests, like music, or cats, or dogs, and so much more. And again, paying attention to these things that happen both within and outside of cyberculture is so key to understanding them. For instance, the kind of memes that you'll see on the UT memes page are often City of Austin happenings, university news, or the decades-long rivalry with Texas A&M. So all of these things come together to form cyberculture. All of these communities, all of these individuals connecting to form cyberculture, one culture in which we all participate. It's rather funny to me how something so inherently silly can have such a major effect on the way we communicate with one another. And not only is it connecting individuals and communities, it's connecting generations as well. I don't know about you guys, but my parents text me memes. And it's so interesting, I've heard generations older than myself or even older than my parents say that they're just writing off internet memes. They don't need to spend time with them and they don't need to understand them. They're silly internet jokes. But many people felt this way about other innovations in the past. The internet, Facebook, smartphones, and even paper. When paper as we know it today was gaining popularity, older generations wrote it off and said that tablet writing was much more permanent and respected, and that paper was an innovation that wouldn't last. Memes are no paper, for now. But meme culture will only continue to grow, and there's no stopping it, and it will continue to affect the way we communicate with one another in the future. Maybe someday, internet meme creation will be a skill essential to successful relationships, or even the job market. Maybe it already is. But for now, keep scrolling, keep sharing, and as they say on Twitter, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Next, we're going to look at some memetic behavior and also listen to some memetic rhetoric that I've observed being circulated on social media in the last few weeks. And pretty much all of these videos seem to be coming from TikTok influencers. But something I found quite interesting, maybe disturbing, was the similarities in the sort of head movements and facial gestures that all of these influencers seem to possess. And is that by accident? Is that by design? Or is this an example of memetics? Human see, human do. They see one influencer blinking and bobbling their head around and they do it. But there does seem to be something in some reason in purpose to all of this, in my opinion, and don't know if or not you share that opinion, but we are going to slow it back down to regular speed and hear what they have to say. You can provide your input as we watch together.
There's no time limit on them, so this is designed to be the new normal. They promote segregation and division. They're discriminatory. They're absolutely pointless because they have no bearing on immunity or transmission. It creates a show your papers society. It's a coercion to get you to take a medical treatment, and it removes your freedom of choice. So aside from all that, this is just the start. As with the situation in Israel, these vaccine passports have an actual sell-by date, again, and time limit. So you think you're fully vaccinated because you've got your double jab and you're so happy because you're going to have access to everything. That only lasts for a certain amount of time because they're bringing the third booster out. So that vaccine passport only lasts.
Now, current studies coming out of Israel show that the Pfizer vaccine wanes within 3 to 5 months. So we're all in this together, communism. And also, you'll need the latest booster or you can't take transit to work. So you're not just asking me to take a vaccine. You're asking me to receive vaccines as a lifestyle choice. You're asking me to accept an unending streak of vaccines, not only for the rest of my life, but as a condition of my freedom. Do you understand how dumb you are if you think anyone's opposition to this maniacal proposition is in any way inappropriate? No, I don't want infinite boosters forever as a condition of my own freedom. What the hell? Why is anyone advocating for this?
See, I believe it when I see it, because this seems to me like another psychological tactic to lull us into a false sense of security. Because at the end of the day, last year, Eat Out to Help Out had only just finished. We're not even to the cold flu season yet. So what's going to happen then when the cases and the deaths goes up? Oh, how are we going to get out of lockdown then? Oh, do the vaccine passports have to come back then? Looks like it to me. So you know what? I ain't cheering yet and I ain't celebrating. It's not happening. I will. I've been an advocate for this. I've been campaigning. When it happens, if we get through the winter and we return to normal, I'll be celebrating
then. You're not, you're racist, is what I'm saying. Hi, this is a little message to the unvaccinated. You are killing everyone. It's your fault. You're being selfish, so get the vaccine because I'm vaccinated. I am vaccinated, okay? And so I'm protected because the vaccine is safe and effective. So if you're around me and you're unvaccinated, then you're putting me at well, you're not. Okay. So you're selfish because if I'm protected and you're around me, then I'm
distancing. And
then
if the
I'm
vaccine
fine,
doesn't
but
provide any immunity,
sorry.
why get the vaccine? And the vaccine passport scheme is completely and utterly useless. Wakey, how can you get herd immunity from a vaccine that doesn't provide any immunity? Right now, that vaccine passport looks like a show of obedience to your authoritarian government. Literature states, the vaccine doesn't stop you spreading or catching the virus. It doesn't provide immunity, but it does lessen symptoms. So riddle me this. If asymptomatic spread is real, and the vaccine only lessens the symptoms, that would make the double jabbed the most likely in society to become asymptomatic, thus making the vaccinated the most dangerous asymptomatic super spreaders. Honestly, it's real. Go through it again. So that would mean you either believe in asymptomatic spread or you believe the vaccine works, because you can't believe in both because the concepts are mutually exclusive.
Incentivized, coerced, bullied, socially shamed, guilt-tripped, threatened, paid, punished, and criminalized. If all of this is considered necessary to gain your compliance, you can be absolutely certain that what is being promoted is not in your best interest. If you have to be persuaded, reminded, pressured, lied to, incentivized, coerced, bullied, socially shamed, guilt-tripped, threatened, paid, punished, and criminalized, if all of this is considered necessary to gain your compliance, you can be absolutely certain that what is being promoted is not in your best interest.
And liberties. And in 2021, what are the same men doing now from a government who are trying to do the same and inject their children with an experimental medication that could kill them? Oh, govern me harder, Daddy. Oh, lock me down again and jab me more and use the children to protect me too. So in World War II, did they send their kids over the trenches as a shield to protect them first? How many 12 to 15-year-olds have to die of blood clots and myocarditis and long-term effects so selfless adults can sit at home and feel safe and protected? It's sexist because I'm using men here. I wish you were all real.
I wish you really did help, but you don't. And you're on the side of wrong. I hope this recall goes through because California does not need you. The nation does not need you. The world does not need you. We do not need you. Governor Gavin Newsom, you're facing a recall because you're a fraud, just like your wife, Jennifer Siebel Newsom. I have the receipts. I wish I didn't. I wish you were all real. I wish you really did help, but you don't. And you're on the side of wrong.
You can be absolutely certain that what is being promoted is not in your best interest. If you have to be persuaded, reminded, pressured, lied to, incentivized, coerced, bullied, socially shamed, guilt-tripped, threatened, paid,
or you already have donated, first of all, thank you. Second of all, please share. This is a people-funded campaign, a grassroots-funded campaign that's not taking any corporate money, so every single dollar helps and can have a huge impact. And we can show people that it is possible to have a people-funded campaign and get elected to Congress. So please share this, and yeah, thank you. Or you already have donated, first of all, thank you. Second of all, please share. This is a people-funded campaign, a grassroots-funded campaign that's not taking any corporate money, so every single dollar helps and can have a huge impact. And we can show people that it is possible to have a people-funded campaign and get elected to Congress. So please share this, and yeah, thank you.
Story about the COVID shot. So I'm going to probably get kicked off TikTok for this, but it's fine. It's worth it, just so you know. So my son is going to be 17. He had COVID. I had COVID. My parents had COVID. We all lived this last year. Antibodies are going through the roof. They're raising. They're not decreasing. But my son, because douchebag de Blasio decided it's mandated, you have the vaccine, he couldn't do anything. So he said, Mom, I want to get the shot. So I went when Pfizer was FDA approved and I got the shot. Now I'm living with congestive heart failure. But guess what? A week later, I have AFib. Now I'm living with congestive heart failure and AFib. And when I went for the second shot to tell them what happened, they told me I was the 40th person that walked into that pharmacy that wound up with AFib from the shot. So before you get the jab, make sure you talk to your doctor.
From getting the vaccines, all of Congress, plus all the congressional staff, House and the Senate, that's a lot of people. 6,000 White House employees, all exempted. 2,500 Pfizer employees exempted. 1,500 Moderna employees, and 120,000 Johnson & Johnson employees, all exempted. 15,000 CDC, 14,000 FDA employees, exempted. 8 million Chinese students in this country. 8 million. How many of them are PLA, CCP? 85, 90%. That's how many. I can tell you that. Exempted. Here's another one. 2 million illegal invaders. Exempted. They don't have to get the shot. Now, what is going on here? Now, let me throw another one in. This is going to be the cherry on top. At least 500,000 homeless tent and street people are exempted. So,
Stigmatized, coerced, bullied, socially shamed, guilt-tripped, threatened, paid, punished, and criminalized. If all of this is considered necessary to gain your compliance, you can be absolutely certain that what is being promoted is not in your best interest.
It's mandated that you have the vaccine.
If you have to be persuaded,
in
reminded.
the hardest season of your life, and secretly they were hoping you weren't gonna make it, and you were praying the wrong prayer. You wanted God to kill your enemies. God said, no, I can't kill your enemies. I'm keeping people who watched you while you were in the hardest season of your life, and secretly they were hoping you weren't gonna make it, and you were praying the wrong prayer. You wanted God to kill your enemies. God said, no, I can't kill your enemies. I'm keeping them.
If you have to be persuaded, reminded, pressured, lied to, incentivized, coerced, bullied, socially shamed, guilt-tripped, threatened, paid, punished, and criminalized. If all of this is considered necessary to gain your compliance, you can be absolutely certain that what is being promoted is not in your best interest.
So there we just saw some TikTok influencers delivering some memetic rhetoric as well as some memetic behavioral patterns. And now what we are going to look at is some examples of some written memes and meme mutations that I've witnessed circulating on social media news feeds in the last few weeks and maybe months. And some of you yourself may be familiar with some of these memetics that we are about to see, and some of you may have inadvertently become part of the meme spreading propaganda machine and shared some of these yourself. But memes do play a huge part of social media society, and they do seem to have had an awful lot of money been spent by government and alphabet agencies into researching and developing military memetics, as well as the parameters and rules for engagement on memetic warfare. And you have to ask yourself, with them preparing for memetic warfare years in advance of social media being launched and being a part of everyday society that does seem to govern our behavioral patterns quite extensively, was the purpose of social media little more to provide the battlefields for memetic warfare, and are the powers to be providing all the augmented ammunition for the inadvertent players in the real life role-playing COVID Con Go multiplayer online real-life role-playing. As I said, people have chosen their side, and people have been inputted and implanted with all the augmented memetic rhetoric and ammunition they need to carry out their job as frontline meme entry MemeKultra. But this is a little reminder of some memetics from around this last year that really disturbed me, to just see how an example of how exactly memes can influence the minds of the masses, and how masses can be triggered with little more than a suggestion on social media to carry out a command on demand.
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility. Listen. Everywhere you look in this world, wherever there is light, there will always be shadows to be found as well.